Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome along to WD18, the Watford fan channel. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. It is a big day in the calendar. It is the launch of the new Watford kit. There's plenty more to get into. Watford news, Watford fixtures, what we're going to do this summer, pre-season coming up as well. My name is Jacob Culshaw. I'm joined by Sam Ucko and Charlie Zazzera. Now, Sam, how has the past few days been for you, mate? Because I haven't seen Sam in a long time. I've actually seen Charlie recently, which I'll explain in a minute. We've bumped across each other, which was the most random thing ever. But Sam, how have you been, my friend? Because it's the first time I've checked in a long time.
No, both of you, Mr. Internationals out here, and then you got me back at base. No, I've been all good, to be honest with you. I think I don't know what it is, but the Euros, I just haven't really clicked with it this time round. I'm not sure why. And I think the last few days have been really, really good with Watford news really ramping up now, getting me excited for the new season. I think this weekend on the agenda, I've got booking my flights to Hibs away, which should be an exciting one. Something for long-time viewers of the channel as well. So obviously just graduating from uni. Thought I'd treat myself because I did have a bit of leftover student finance. I had a look on the auction website for the club from the club shop.
Not again,
Sam. This might end badly because last year I ended up on a drunk night out buying a Henrique Rouge match-worn shirt. I bought a Sombrelong design shirt. And after my pre-season predictions last year, I've now gone with the Tom End shirt.
Oh my god! Oh my god! That is Sam. That's incredible. Basically, before we go live on these streams, we do a podcast. We have a little chat beforehand, and normally kind of what we're going to talk about. I was not expecting that, Sam, at all. That is incredible.
It is becoming a bit of a hobby now. Like you can probably see behind me if you're listening on audio. I've got all my sort of signed shirts or match worn shirts there, so it is to the collection. I did think Tom Ince, he's a bit of an EFL sort of. He's been around the block a few times. It's a nice name to have in there, albeit he hasn't lit it up for Watford. So, I just thought might as well make the purchase.
He hasn't lit it up for Watford, but Sam did predict he would lit it up for Watford, so he definitely hasn't done that. Charlie, just your reaction to that. I mean, if you're not watching live, Charlie was lost for words there. I rarely see him lost for words.
Sam, you need to have a word with your financial advisor, Jesus, or you need to have a word with you. Now, Dankeschön, Jacob. I'm still recovering. I might be a bit drowsy or a bit coffee, but I just got back to Manchester today after 9 days in Germany, which is immaculate vibes. Loved every second of it. Great to bump into Jacob before the Denmark game, I think it was. But yeah, it's been class. Jacob's been running on steam. So how are you finding it, young man?
Charlie sounds a bit bunged up. I sound a bit bunged up as well. I'm running on fumes at the moment. I think it's day number 16 out here in Germany, and I think it's been amazing. Like one of the best things I've ever done, genuinely. But what I didn't appreciate before I came out was the days, because we're starting early and finishing late, and this obviously is a rest day because there's no football on and it's been pretty chill, which has been good. But it's been an amazing experience. We had a couple of comments. Yellow Brick Road Boys. Hey guys, Jacob, how was Germany? Loving your content, mate. Appreciate it. Jack, hope you're well, buds. Hope you're enjoying the Euros. From what I can tell, it's been class other than the weather. And Charlie mentioned there about us bumping into each other, right? So I didn't manage to catch Charlie on 2 of the days. One of the days is because I was at Georgia, Portugal. But on the day of England-Denmark, this was so random, right? We were in Frankfurt. I had a meal with the producer I was with, and I basically left my sunglasses in the restaurant. So we've got to the square where all the England fans are. It's Charlie would agree with this. It was absolutely rammed, right? The flares were going off, the beer was going everywhere, people jumping in the sort of like mini fountain in the centre of the Dusseldorf Frankfurt centre. And basically I got to the centre and I realised I forgot my glasses. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to lose them. And to be fair, they were like 40 quid. So like, you're not going to lose sleep over it, but you don't want to lose them. Anyway, as I'm running back, I just hear someone shout, "Oi, why are you running?" And I'm thinking, oh my God, is this the Denmark fans chasing me? Right? It turns out I turned to my left like Prime Busquets and Charlie's there with his mate. And that's how we got the selfie in Frankfurt. Charlie, that was one of the most random interactions we ever had with each other. Were you hungover that day?
Yeah, most likely. I think I was on the water. I think I was on
every day, Charlie. Come on.
Yeah, I think I was on the water at the time, like in the picture. So I was looking at keeping hydrated. But yeah, so good. It's just been fascinating. Like over there, it's so like supporting Watford in the sense of like you have a great day out, especially away days, and try not to let the football ruin a good day. But for me, it's all about the experience and meeting new people and just having a good crack. But yeah, it's been like trying to find the positives with England, trying to find it with Watford. So I'm looking forward to speaking to you guys, and because there's a lot to catch up on. I'm guessing we're going to try and cram in a lot today. So yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's start with the new home kit, if you guys can see that on your screen. So this is the new Watford home kit for the 24-25 season. Now, Sam, you are a man who loves a Kelme kit. You're a man who loves a Watford kit. Where does this rank in the last 4 Watford home kits? Because I know you put a tweet out and it's split opinion. So where are you putting this one?
What about where does it rank in the top 3 Kelme kits ever? Watford Kelme kits.
Top 3
How
best.
many have we had? 9?
Yeah, I mean, this is the 5th year. So this is the 5th home kit under Kelme.
Okay.
The first year was the promotion season under Sissoko. And then we've had the previous 4 seasons, obviously. What I like about this is A, the simplicity of it. I absolutely love it. And B, it's bringing back the pure yellow. I thought last year's design was nice because it was really unique and different to anything we've had before. But just having pure Watford back now, like yellow, it's sort of, obviously we got the stripes in there, but one of my favourite kits of all time, Watford-wise, was that 14-15 promotion kit, obviously 10 years on from that, and I love the simplicity of that design, and we've got that simplicity back. It's a predominantly yellow kit, so for me it's right up there in terms of the top 5 Kelme kits, the top 3 Kelme kits. Unbelievable. And wow, we have to come onto the red shorts as well.
Charlie, I'll leave it to you with the red shorts, because I just wanted to shout out the Watford media team, because the announcements, not only for the kit, but also for shorts. I think that might be the only time ever in football history that clubs announced short kit, right? Red shorts to be revealed. Martin Tyler's doing the voiceover. I mean, in terms of sort of Watford content, this is right up there for me. Charlie, red shorts.
Yeah, that video was class that the club put out in terms of red shorts and showing all the history and all the success we've had in the red shorts, even through the 80s. And then kind of my big memories is that promotion season when we went up 14-15, 10 years now for this season. But yeah, the shirt when it drops, that's a thing of beauty. Love the retro vibe. It's clean. And then yeah, the red shorts to go with it. They've done it again, Kelme. They've done it again. Love it. And yeah, we're giving away a shirt, aren't we? So head over to our Instagram if you want to get involved in that. I'm sure we can put a link to this video below. But yeah, for me, it's a 9 out of 10, 100%.
Sam, what are we giving it out of 10? Because I'm giving it, I actually think, without the sponsor, it's a 9 for me. With the sponsor, it's an 8.
See, I'm actually, do you know what? I don't like gambling sponsors. I've made that clear previously. But I do think that without the sponsor, it does look a bit too plain, if that makes sense. I do actually think it looks slightly better with the sponsor. I saw a mock-up on Twitter. Again, we might have to drop it a retweet later of someone putting on some of the classic sponsors on there. The Herald and Post, I think it was, and it just looked absolutely unbelievable with the retro sponsors. I'll tell you what, it absolutely looks like a kit that when we all have kids at some point, we'll all be buying it for them in the Hornet shop when it's in the retro range. So hopefully we can have an iconic season to match it as well, because ultimately it's going to be about the players who play in the kit rather than the kit itself.
I've just got this image of Sam sort of like in the lounge, it's Christmas Day with his son or daughter going, you know what, mate, open that shirt up and just saying, you know what, they were the good old days with Bayo and Kiembe in the 25 kit.
Yeah, do you know that meme of that guy going, oh, it was special. It was special. It's my kid going, Dad, tell me about Vacuum Bayo up front that season.
He's just gonna be giving his kids like his Thomas Ince shirt, British Sunderland,
Rouge.
These were legends, boy.
It's going to be the worst kit collection of all time.
Just a quick one, actually, with these two on screen. Have you seen this thing that Bayo and Kiembe apparently went go-karting together this summer? That would have been great content. Surely the club have got to film something of those two going go-karting together.
Yeah, I would have watched that. I mean, the content that I've loved as well is Yasser Asprilla in this kit, because there's been a lot made about whether he'll be here come the end of the summer. That's obviously still one that will rumble on. And we'll get onto a player that is leaving Watford very shortly, and Ismael Kone. Just a few thoughts on the kit. and your guys' thoughts, because that's the most important thing. Surin says, I rather like it. Chris says, we are ready, obviously with the red kit. Ruddy, bloody awesome. Now that is a nice kit, says Simon. The Watford way, good to see you, mate. The kit is sensational. Best kit in years. Caden says, it's an okay shirt, just not sold on the shorts. And yeah, do you know what? I've seen majority of people say they really like it. Some people have said, as you said, Sam, that actually it looks better with the sponsor. But look, we'll move. That is the home kit for the 24-25 season. I think Sam makes a fantastic point in terms of the kit as well, because my favourite kits are not normally actually the design. It's probably the season associated with the kit, because I think a lot of people say that 2018-19 is their favourite shirt in a long time. You know, it's just a very simple yellow and black stripes, and it's obviously because we had one of our most successful seasons in the club's history. So I think how this kit will be remembered will very much depend on how we do this season. Do you know what? JJ makes a great point as well. It's a nice shirt. We've gone back to a retro feel. Now, Sam, Michael says, absolute beauty of a kit. Just wish we announced Jonathan Bond in the goalkeeper kit. For people who don't know, Sam, what is going on with Jonathan Bond? Could he potentially be coming back to Watford?
Yeah, well, Adam Leventhal broke the news the other day. The deal is edging a bit closer. I'll be careful with what I share here. It does look like the deal is going to happen, and I reckon we might get an announcement next week, hopefully. According to Lou Owens as well, he has been at the training ground, so that's Lou Owens telling me that.
Sam, just on Bondi though, because I think if after Leventhal released the news, and obviously he's a free agent after leaving LA Galaxy, it's a deal that makes sense as a homegrown player, right? So just in terms of what this move would mean for Watford and for him, do you think it's one that makes sense for all parties?
Without doubt, and it's one that I sort of saw coming as well. In terms of, I think when he left LA Galaxy, he obviously spent the back end of last season as a free agent. I think Watford with Ben Hamer going this summer as well, we wanted to bring someone in now who is homegrown, got that affiliation with the supporters, and I think ultimately someone who is happy to not necessarily be the number one, but to be sort of a supporting act for the goalkeepers. Obviously, he'll want to be playing as well, but I think he's more than anything, I think he'll just be happy to be coming home to Watford. And I'm delighted that it's likely that he is coming back, because I think he's someone who really represents the good side of Watford Football Club. Top guy. And yeah, we'll go into more detail on that if and when it is announced.
Sam, will he be happy being a number two, or will he be thinking he can claim this number one shirt? Like, it's hard to gauge the quality of MLS and what he's done and what his level is. Obviously, he was at West Brom as well, wasn't he, before LA Galaxy? Didn't he go up under Slav West Brom when they got promoted? So championship experience there. Do you think he could be the number one, or do you think it's definitely going to be a number two situation?
Obviously, no goalkeeper's happy to be a number two. I think it is hard to come by to find a goalkeeper who happily, I mean, other than Scott Carson at Man City, who is picking up thousands of pounds to get medals and sit on the bench and just bring the vibes. I think there will be opportunities for him. We saw last season, obviously, with Daniel Bachmann getting sent off, and at that point, Ben Hamer was able to break into the team and had a really good run in there. It's just going to be about when he does get the opportunities, can he take them? There are some weaknesses to his game that I think could be potentially concerning. I think at times his coming out to claim the ball, I think sometimes his physicality in the box as well can be a bit concerning. So in many ways, he's similar to Daniel Bachmann, because I also think he's a fantastic shot stopper. But I do think there will be opportunities for him to start games. It's just about whether he takes them or not.
Because there's been a lot made, Charlie, about sort of with Ben Hamer being released alongside Jake Livermore, that we need to bring in another keeper. And I think Bond makes a lot of sense for Watford. The only question I had was whether he'd come in to be number one. Now, we were linked with Ricardo Velio, who that one's kind of gone a little bit quiet, but at one point that did seem like it was developing well. So I guess the question to you, Charlie, is would you be satisfied with a three of Bachmann, Bond and Roberts probably in the goalkeeper position?
Probably not, to be honest. I think we've spoken when we've done our 5 players to watch video, which you guys can still check out. I think the goalkeeper's quite high priority. And then when you saw the rumours of Vela, who, when I did some digging and looked into him, like he was he got in the Portuguese team of the year last season. He was the best goalkeeper in Portugal. I thought if we managed to pull it off, it'd be a huge coup. Obviously, it'd cost a fee. We know his release clause was like 10 million. Doesn't necessarily mean we would have paid that. But when I was looking at goalkeepers, I was looking for someone who was great on their feet, coming to claim crosses. I think with that Velho, one thing that was interesting was how good he was at claims and high claims and dominating his area, something that I don't think Dan Batman's most strong of. So, look, we're going to talk about someone leaving. We're going to talk about a fee coming in. I would have liked to have seen a higher caliber goalkeeper come in. I think we've previously spoken about who's Bournemouth's number 2. I know he was getting minutes. We talked about Mark Travers, but someone like that, I would like to see us make that move. But again, we need a striker as well. We need a Kone replacement. We need a left back. So Dan Batman signed up to that 5-year deal last season. I know Tom's a big fan of him, so maybe it's just not as a high priority to the club as we may think it is.
Yeah, one that we all agreed I think needed improving. So interesting to see how that one develops, and I'm sure. Well, I'm not sure, but I'd imagine Bondi's deal will be getting close over the line very, very soon. One that looks to be moving as well, Sam, is Moussa Sissoko. Now, this one came out of nowhere, really. Adam Leventhal put a tweet out the other day about Moussa Sissoko making a return to Watford. Now, with Ismael Kone, who we'll touch on, making his way to Marseille, it does mean that there is a spot that needs to be filled. And Watford are in talks with Moussa Sissoko about a return. He's 34. We can sign him on a free after leaving Nantes. He's reviewing these options. He has had offers elsewhere as well. So, Sam, Moussa Sissoko, 34. We know what he's about. He was captain of the club in that relegation season under 3 different managers. But Sissoko, what do we reckon?
There's pros and cons to it. I'll start by saying I don't think it's the Ismael Kone replacement. I actually think he's coming in to replace Jake Livermore, who's gone. I think obviously that experience.
He was out at the Euros, by the way, having a great time. I saw King. I saw Elise selfie. Yeah. I spotted him over the road. I think there's no chance I'm running over to speak to him. I was going to say already.
Can I just say shout out to Harry Welsh, Alex King, met them, and Luke Carey, legends, in Cologne Square with the Watford flags, legends. Sam, Moussa Sissoko.
Love it, yeah. I think it's very similar, not similar in terms of the way that they play, but bringing in that experienced name. Supposedly, he might be on less wages than Jake Livermore as well. Someone who, he's never played in the Championship, has he? Did he ever play in that Newcastle promotion team? In 2016, he might have played in that one, unless he left that summer before when they got relegated. But yeah, he's someone who knows about English football, at least. I don't think he'll necessarily be starting, but then again, I would have liked to bring in someone a bit younger with a point to prove. Sissoko didn't exactly light things up when he was here last time out. But I'm being sort of cautious about writing him off completely because we were sat here this time last year and Jacob, you were the only one going, I think Jake Livermore might be an okay signing, whereas I can't remember what you said, Charlie, but I was not happy with the Livermore signing and he turned out to be okay. So yeah, I won't write him off too quickly, but he's not someone who excites me at all, to be honest with you.
So on Sissoko, he's never played in the Championship before. He left to join Tottenham when Newcastle got relegated that summer. Right. Just a few more details about the Sissoko news. Obviously, he left Watford after they're relegated to the Championship in 2022. So he has never played in the Championship before. He has a few options, but Watford are keen to bring him back to the club where he would play under his former teammate, Tom Cleverley. He made 38 appearances in that 21-22 season after leaving Tottenham to join the club. Charlie, if I'm honest, it does seem like a bit of we're trying to do a shortcut and we're going, you know what, we know this guy, we can get him on a free. It's an easy deal to get over the line. Now, don't get me wrong, I actually think for the Championship, it'd be a decent signing for us. I think there's in terms of the level, but does it just feel like a little bit of a sort of, he's available, we know what he's like, similar to Flores, we'll jump back in, we'll go back to our ex and see what happens.
Yeah, it doesn't fill me with too much excitement, if I'm completely honest. I was actually surprised to see how many games he played for in Liga last season. Still, for his age, he played 20 plus in the last 2 seasons. So, You like to think his pedigree should be good, but I just don't think it's a signing who's going to take us forward. Is he going to start? Like Tom Delly, it looks like his new contract's going to be confirmed. We've got Kayembe. We're going to talk about Kone in a bit, but I just can't see it's going to be a signing who's going to take us forward. When we looked at this profile, we wanted someone with experience, especially championship experience. I put forward Lewis Baker of Stoke, who's about 6 years younger than him and has got that experience and that leadership. So I've got a bit of a saying in football. I don't generally like going back. Still scarred from Kike Sanchez Flores Mark II. And I can't remember too many times in football when it's kind of worked well going back to people. It's very Gino Pozzo, isn't it? Again, I don't think we should completely write him off or completely be negative about it, because he was actually playing in the last Euros for France, I think, 2020. It's 2021 in the France squad, which is a bit mad to think of. But I just don't think he's going to take us forward. I think we've heard whispers that he's been in talks to come back in a couple of windows prior to this. So it's one of those. It's good that he wants to come back, but I can't see it's going to take us to the next level. But let's watch his space. I think it's one to react to after the window. If we don't get in that Kone replacement and he is that stopgap or he is that square peg in a round hole, I think you could be a lot more critical, but we'll have to wait till the end of the window to make a fair verdict.
Yeah, agreed. One thing to mention, Sam, there is a certain agent. That's right. There is a certain agent involved in this deal. Sissoko is represented by Moggy Bayat, who we know pretty well at Watford. Does it seem again? I'm very much trying to find a bit of balance here, because I think some people, as terms of a player, I don't think it's a bad signing at all. It just feels like a bit of a shortcut. That's what it feels to me.
Yeah, the word 100% is shortcut, particularly with that agent's involvement. But we won't comment too much on the agent situation just because there are ongoing legal things going on. But it does not sit well with me again that, like you say, Jacob, I think Sissoko as a signing could be okay, a bit like Jake Livermore was. But it's interesting to see the wider implications that this has for the relationship with the agent, because I don't think this will be the only time this summer that we're sat here going, we've just signed a Moggy buyout client, because it just seems to be a shortcut and a cheap option for us.
I think one thing that I'm a bit concerned about as well is his profile. I think he's quite a similar profile to Kone in terms of progressing the ball, box-to-box midfielder, high energy, whereas Jake Livermore was much more of that sitting player. So, yeah, we'll have to see, but that was something that concerned me a bit.
Yeah, one of the comments from Michael was on Sissoko. I wouldn't be against Sissoko coming back, just as long as he's not made captain again. One memory I do have of Sissoko is when he wrote the letter to the Watford fans ahead of Watford-Norwich, and the floodlights went out. We lost 3-0. It was a bit of a disaster class. Not to remind you boys about one of the worst nights of the season. We've touched on Sissoko. We've touched on Bonds in terms of incomings. They're two to mention. Just a couple of others to throw on the radar from Adam Leventhal. Watford have also held talks over signing Celtic's Rocco Vata, and I've actually got a chant for him because I feel like, there was one wasted with Mario Gaspar, and I think you could go Rocco Vata, Rocco Vata. Shocking.
That's the drawing board, Jakey.
Yeah, I know. I've got ahead of myself after the Georgia goal.
I love you, Jacob. They'll be building statues of you out in Georgia after this tournament.
You know what? That deserves a story time in a minute. Honestly, it's crazy, right? Rocco Vata, the 19-year-old attacking midfielder, is out of contract, but he's also, like Sissoko, considering his options, which he could stay at Celtic, but Watford have shown an interest. The other ones also mentioned, one that we've mentioned on the channel before, is Antonio Tikvic, the left-footed centre-back at Udinese. Now, Watford are hopeful of completing the signing of Tikvic. He has been pictured in the training group at London Colney with the other Watford players. He was also set to join, if I'm not mistaken, in January, but the deal wasn't completed for whatever reason. But we're yet to know whether this one will be a permanent or a loan signing. So there's 4 players to look out for from a Watford point of view. But probably the biggest news in terms of transfers at this moment in time, Sam, is Ismael Kone. Now, this is one that I'm a little bit gutted about because I did really like Kone during his time at the club. Someone that we brought in January 2023 for £8 million, and it looks like he's leaving for 12.5 with add-ons. to Marseille. He's going to sign a 5-year contract with the league and club. Let's just, from a Watford perspective, is this a good deal?
I think so. I want to say yes for all parties. I think it probably is a good deal. I think Ismael Kone is probably ready to take that next step up. Supposedly he's actually struggled in the Copa America in the couple of games. I haven't watched any of it, but just from looking at what some Canada fans have said, I think one said that since knowing that scouts are watching him, he's feeling the pressure. But I think we saw glimpses last season. I think when he gets a bit more consistency into his game, I think he's got all the tools to genuinely be a top player who could, really have a big impact on in Europe's top 5 leagues, top 5 or 6 leagues. So it doesn't surprise me. I think Watford making a profit again with bringing in one of these younger players, developing them, selling them on for a higher fee. I think you still have to say that is a strength of the recruitment of the scouting network. João Pedro last year. Ben Manga player as well. Oh, God, that feels like so long ago now. Ben Manga being involved. So, yeah, I think it is a move that makes sense for all parties. I think it's all about the replacement, though. And the question is, do we have much faith in terms of replacing him? Probably not. And I am slightly worried in that regard. Although I do think it does give us a good chance now that we'll keep hold of Yasser Asprilla.
Yeah, just a few more details on this before we get Charlie's take, because I know Charlie was a massive fan of Kone. From what Andrew French revealed in his article in the Watford Observer, make sure you do go and give it a read. Roma, West Ham and Marseille were all linked with a move for Kone. And it kind of now makes sense his what he was like on the final game of the season, because he read in real effort before everyone went round for the lap of honour, or lap of appreciation, I think it's called. He was the first one to do it on his own. He was basically clapping all the Watford fans on the last game of the season. And Andrew said in the article that the Watford Observer understood that Kone made it quite clear he wanted to move away from Vicarage Road this summer. In terms of other details from Fabrizio Romano, it looks like it's a deal up to £15 million for Watford, 5-year contract. He was strongly wanted by Roberto De Zerbi at Marseille, and it's another move that goes through for Watford, Charlie. So just on Ismael Kone, how would you describe your sort of thoughts on this one?
Sad. I think it was after one of the days, woke up, maybe England, Denmark, looked at my phone to see that he was off, and yeah, that was a dark morning for me. I just think Sam kind of mentioned he thinks it's right for him to go, and it's like, is it? I know he had a good couple of games against, was it France and Argentina for Canada, but I'm not sure how consistent he's been. Look, I think it's a financial decision. I think the money's been offered there and then, and it's really good for the club that we can get it in early and know how to deal with it. I'm at this point now where we keep bringing in these really, really good young players, but I still don't think we're not getting the best out of them. We did see the best out of Richarlison, I don't think, but we got the quick penny back, which obviously was a good deal for us. João Pedro, did we see the very best of João Pedro?
Well, I'd say we did. I think João's the exception. I know what you mean, Charlie. I think João's the exception here, though. I did think we saw the best of João.
I think he's so many more levels. And I just think, again, we spoke about it before, the environment at the club for years now has not been good enough, and we've bought so much talent. And you can tell they're all talented players because other scouts are going and putting bigger fees down for them than we are. But as a Watford fan, even like a player like Henrik Arouge, I know he hasn't gone on to do well, but you can see how highly prospect. But I'm just a bit disappointed that we're not seeing the best out of these players that we can really kind of get behind, and his fleeting visit. And Kone, who I love, and I said from daylight, he just looks like such an exciting player. I don't think he performed consistently for us, and I don't think he could have. I don't think we've seen as much as we should have. So it's just a real shame for me that I don't think we're kind of seeing the best of what we're bringing in. And I think that's just the environment that is Watford. And yeah, Spree is an interesting one now. Do we keep hold of him? That's going to be fascinating, because I think if we do keep hold of him next season, you'd like to think he's going to be one of the best players in the league, and that's going to be a huge boost for us. Or is our environment still not good, and we're still going to have a difficult season, and we're not going to see him thrive? So Kone, I'm gutted to see, because he was a larger-than-life character. I loved his celebrations when he used to run over to the fans. He scored bangers. I thought he was a really exciting player. I'm just gutted because I don't think we saw near enough the best for him. But look, he's getting a move to Marseille under one of the most exciting coaches in one of the best stadiums I've ever been in. So fair play to him. There's just a bit of regret and a bit of sadness from a kind of Watford perspective for me that we're not doing the most we can with these young players that we're bringing in.
Just on that model, Charlie, is that the model though, to actually not see them at their peak, but clubs are buying the potential of João Pedro, of Kone?
Jacob, we haven't been successful in 5 years. So, like, if it's a model, it's not a successful one for us. Do you know what I mean? But
it's successful for Gino, though, because he's getting the money.
He would be earning a lot more money if we're in the Premier League right now. I just think it hasn't been a model that's worked for us for ages. Just along the way, we've lost our way with that cohesion in second coaches, and the environment's not been great. So, yeah, sorry to have a bit of a moan, but I just find it frustrating because it's like, what's a good analogy to use? We've gone out clubbing, we've wooed the nice girl, but just at the final straw, we've flopped for one reason or another. So, yeah, it's just frustrating from my part.
Just on this comment from you on TV, good to see you, mate. We haven't got to see the best of the young players because the environment hasn't been good or consistent enough, and we're selling to other stepping stone clubs rather than the EPL top 10. I think that's absolutely spot on. I completely agree with Charlie. I was pretty much playing devil's advocate. In terms of the profit that Watford have made on Kone, not that it really affects the fans, because the only person that affects is Gino Potter, and whether it actually gets reinvested into the team, which is a big thing now because there is money there that we can reinvest. It means that Watford have realised a profit of around 10 million for Kone. Although I said cost 8 million, it actually turns out Andrew French said that he cost in the region of 4 million when he signed from Montreal in December 2022. So Watford have made a £10 million profit on Kone. Now the question is, Sam, do you think that'll be reinvested?
Probably not, no. I think we know the financial situation at the club at the moment isn't necessarily all good. I don't really understand the financial side of football, but it's just, I think it's quite evident to people looking at the players that we've bought in recently. I think this might be money that we don't necessarily see reinvested. I think it will be another summer of going in for the cheap options, the shortcuts such as Moussa Sissoko. And I do think that is slightly worrying, to be honest. Just going back to the levels thing, though, because it's a really interesting debate, I think, in terms of whether we saw the best of Ismael Kone, João Pedro, those sorts of players. I completely agree. I think one element to it is why I'm happy that Kone is going for his sake is because he's not surrounded in a good environment. But I also think that there is sort of in the Championship with the environment that he's surrounded in, there's a maximum level that he can reach. And that goes for Asprilla, João Pedro, that sort of thing, because of A, the environment they're in, and B, because of the players that they're up against. I think look at so many players, Georgie Shaffatazzi at the Euros at the moment, who's performing on the bigger stage because he has to raise his game. João Pedro in the Premier League, Ismael Kone up against France in a friendly the other week. I think when you're up against better players, I think you do naturally raise your game. And that's why, to be honest, I know we're not really talking about England on here. I do think England will be okay in the Euros, because I do think that when in the latter stages of the tournament they come up against better teams, I think that might be better suited to England. And I think in a similar way, I liken it to Ismael Kone. I think he'll improve in the better division.
Sorry, Sam. I disagree a bit when we look at like young talented players like Somerville this season and Dye for Sheffield United. Like, these lads are talented. If there's a decent structure around them, they should be
But this is the thing. I think it's a combination of the two. I think it's if he's got a good environment around him and also a good and also playing at a higher level, I think we do see a better player with that. We look at Georgia. I think that's the best example. And Jake, we have to hear the Shaffatazzi story in a minute, but Georgie being in an environment where everyone's on the same page, you can see the team spirit is there. The country, the nation is right behind him. And I know international football is very different, and he's playing at a really high level. We've seen the best of Shaffatazzi this tournament, and I think it's a combination of environment and who they're up against that we're seeing these improvements.
Just on the squad, which we'll get in just a second, we've got a few comments. So Luan says the model works from a talent ID point of view, but it's what we surround them with, the issue, I'd imagine, at manager and also player level. There is no doubt in my mind that Kone will go to Marseille and look another level because of the players he surrounds himself with. And as Charlie says, the quality of coach he's working under. But it goes back to what you guys both said. There's a reason why you saw the best of someone like Gerard Deulofeu in the Premier League under Javi Gracia, playing with Etienne Capoue, Abdoulaye Doucouré, Roberto Pereira, because of the talent he had around him. So I think there is, as Sam said, I think there's a maximum that Kone can produce. And largely, let's be honest, last season he was inconsistent in terms of one week he looked brilliant, the next week he looks pretty lost. But I'd imagine next season in a Marseille team that I think they're in Europe, right?
With Ismael Assar as well.
Ismael Assar, who I think has been linked with the move to Villarreal at one point. Sorry, completely off topic. But the point is, I think we'll see a Kone who will be more consistent just based on the fact that he's playing in a better team. And as you guys both say, there's a maximum capacity at Watford in the Championship at a club that finished in the bottom half last season. So that's one of the things. Uon's TV, on average, Championship teams lose 400,000 per week. This will swallow the Kone money. Last accounts, we were losing 500,000 per week had it not been for player trading. Cameron says the main problem we have is we don't bring in players for much of a fee, if any, for consecutive years. So the long-term problem is just delayed by 12 months. Luon said on his talent ID point, for example, Yasser is an amazing talent, but his best qualities work with a fast striker because of his passing ability. What do we do? Buy Rajovic. It doesn't make sense. So on that, Charlie, squad depth chart, let's have a little look about the situation at this moment in time for Watford, because we did a video on it about sort of the keep, sell or loan, and make sure you do check that out. That was about a month ago now. This is the current situation, Charlie.
Yeah, this is quite. I might have got this wrong since I've been away. So if there's anything that's wrong here, if anyone's left that I've missed, just let us know in the comments. I think this is an up-to-date kind of squad from what I've seen. I've added in Albert Ames. He seems to be featured a lot in the pre-season content. And I've added the 3 rumoured players who look like they're coming in Bond, Tikic and Sissoko. Yeah, we've got the likes of Sam's favourite Imran Loser still there. And he looks like he's having the longest holiday of his life. We've got players like João Ferreira. I've got rid of Matthias Martins, who I know Luke's watching. I think I saw Luke mention in a tweet that he'll be going back to Udinese. And we've done a keep, loan and sell video, and we all thought that Asprilla would be the one that's leaving. So he's in there. But when you're looking at Yasser and Georgia Chatvidazzi, what he's been doing in the Euros, Tom Deli, Kayembe, still got Ken Sema, who we still got Porto, who we might talk about in the Euro section. Interesting. Sam, what's your first, looking at this, what's your first initial thought?
Yeah, you mentioned Imran Loser on holiday. Hope he enjoys it. No rush for him to come back. So, yeah, put your feet up, Imran. It is concerning, isn't it? I think the quality more than anything else here is it's poor, I think. It's a squad that I think will really struggle, to be honest with you. I think we're probably going to be down there this season if we don't make serious improvements, particularly with Ismael Kone going. I think the two most exciting players in there going forward, Asprilla and Chatvidazzi, could be really, really exciting next season. But it's all about who they have as a striker, because that has to be a priority. As Lou said, having Yasser in there for his passing talent, I don't think any of these strikers really suit him, to be honest.
But is it a concern, lads, with Asprilla and Chatvidazzi? On paper, are 2 most talented players in terms of technical ability, that they could be gone before the start of the season. Now, let's be honest, it's been great. I mean, I saw Georgie live the other night. He looked brilliant. He started on the left. He drifted over to the right. He was in the middle. He's such a flexible player. And one thing that I think a lot of the Georgia fans were saying to me is he would be at a higher level if it wasn't for his injuries. And we've managed to pick him up at a time where, I think when you look at what he's done, technically he's brilliant. At this moment in time, I would say he's better than Watford in terms of his technical ability, but the fact that he's had injuries means he is probably with us. My concern is the tournament he's had. It wouldn't surprise me if a club came in for him. You always get it after a tournament that, you look at any major tournament, a player, great example, someone like Yerry Mina, he had a great tournament with Colombia. Next thing he's off to Everton for 30 million quid. So the point is you can have a tournament that propels you onto the big stage. So, Charlie, when you look at the squad on paper, as you say, with someone like Asprilla and Chatvidazzi, is there a concern that those 2 could be gone as well as Kone?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. That'll be a real eye-opener in terms of what the finances are. Because if we're seeing 2 or 3 out of 3 in terms of Kone, Asprilla and Chatvidazzi, one thing I didn't mention about Kone, which frustrated me, was the amount of interest that we got. And we just took 15 million. and we know the finances, but I thought if West Ham, Roma, Marseille are all interested, can we not like get more money out of them than the 15 million? It felt like they just wanted to reclaim that money as soon as possible. I can't see all three going. Chatford only cost us what, 2 million in January. And again, I think if we have Yasser for another year, and we were talking saying that we reckon he'll go for 15 million. If he has a Somerville type season, we could be getting 30 million for him next season. So I don't know. I don't think all three will go. But I wouldn't be surprised if one of the others goes.
Who's more likely to go, do you think, between Georgie and Yasser?
I'd say Asprilla probably with Georgie's contract.
Really? I was going to say Georgie. I think this tournament.
I was going to say Georgie as well, just because the price. I think someone might be willing to pay 10 million, which we might accept.
I tell you what, some people did criticise it. It's looking like a good bit of business now, isn't it? Getting him signed up in January, isn't it?
Yeah, you on TV, Chatford was seriously linked with Barcelona before his injuries. In fairness, most players in the Western Hemisphere have been linked with Barca at some point. Classic Pozzo signing in terms of showing some of his best football. I actually thought Chatford, at times he was a bit part player under Ismael, but I thought particularly towards the end he looked really bright. I guess that kind of leads on to sort of his tournament so far, Sam. So from afar, watching him for Georgia, they've qualified for the round of 16 for the first time ever in their history. I was there the other night against Portugal. It was honestly unbelievable. Like the atmosphere. I said to people when Kvaratskhelia scored in 2 minutes, the noise I heard in that stadium, the only noise better than that, genuinely I've heard, was when Didi scored against Leicester. In terms of like how loud it was in that end. Honestly, it was absolute like chaos. So, yeah, Georgie, what have you made of his performances so far in the group? And now he's going to come up against Spain in the round of 16.
Unbelievable. Wow. It's weird because obviously I'm rooting for England. I want England to have a really, really good tournament. But for some reason, it's just been Georgia that's really captured me this tournament. Like I said, I haven't fully got into it. I'm not too sure why. But I've been more excited to watch Georgia than England. Like the opportunity to watch Georgie from Georgia on the biggest stage. A really exciting team, a really good environment it seems for him to be in. But I think, obviously, on the one hand, it is absolutely brilliant to see him doing so well. I just think on the half turn, he looks so good. He's so quick. I think he's really confident. He's got that really positive arrogance about him as well. I think the downside, and obviously, Jacob, you've been there and you haven't been able to listen on the BBC or ITV. They keep on going, the commentators, clubs might be interested in him, or they go, don't think he'll be at Watford for too long. So I think in a way, hopefully he can tone it down a bit and in the last 16, even though I do hope Georgia do well. But yeah, obviously delighted for Georgie, but as we said before, let's hope a big bid doesn't come in for him this summer.
Charlie, what have you made of his performances so far?
In total honesty, I haven't seen too much of him, which has been a real shame. I was set up to watch Portugal, Georgia in a pub, and then loads of Turkish fans came in, and I wasn't brave enough to tell them that they couldn't change it. I think he came off early, but that Turkey-Georgia game at the start was an absolute thriller, wasn't it? And he was getting loads of plaudits. Unfortunately, I've spent more time watching Raymond I than I have Georgie Chatford. Albanian fans think he's useless as well. So, and obviously we had Ryan Porto, bless him, had a bit of a stinker, but his dedication to get back to pre-season as soon as possible for Watford is high on there. So, no, I feel for Ryan. I don't think it was a bad tackle, but I don't think he meant to malice. But that's Scotland for you, isn't it?
Jack in the comments, speaking of Watford at the Euros, love Sam's tweet about Porteous potentially impressing on the big stage before being sent off. Now, Sam, I'm actually going to dig this tweet out. I haven't seen it. Play to the viewers what happens.
God. I was really because I think I love watching Watford players play in these like big tournaments or ex-players in the Champions League, whatever. So I was going, great opportunity for Porteous here. And I do think that he is a player that when he is playing well, I think he'd suit a lot of teams. And I go, do you know what? If he has a good tournament, like we said with Georgie, would not shock me if a couple of teams are a bit interested in him. Lo and behold, he's sent off after about 40 minutes for nearly breaking, was it Gundogan? Nearly absolutely snapping Gundogan's leg off. And Unfortunately, my tweet blows up. So, yeah, if you're listening on audio, I wrote, fantastic to see Ryan Porteous given the opportunity to play on the biggest stage. A great opportunity for him to impress against a good side. Will not shock me if he attracts interest this summer, if he has a good tournament. And then I had 3 tweets, which just banged. So, Jake, if you scroll down, how many likes did that get? Because I was getting absolutely cooked. So that tweet
4.6
got
million
13K.
views.
The reply to that, I just put, that got 15K. And if you go onto my pin tweet as well, I just put that picture of Neil Warnock with his hands with 28K on there.
Oh my God, that is one of the best series of tweets I've ever seen.
Yeah, as Charlie said, fair play to him for wanting to get back for pre-season.
Oh, honestly, Sam, when I tell you, like, content-wise, that's some of the best I've ever seen on that app, honestly. I think I spoke to a few Scotland fans about Porteous, and they all said the same thing. They liked him, but he can just be so rash. And Charlie, whilst you said I don't think he means to hurt him, what on earth is he flying into a tackle there in the 6-yard box? He's basically, he's tried to get the ball and the man as hard as possible. He's lost control. It's a straight red, Stonewall penalty. And the thing is, and I mentioned it I'm going to speak to a few Scotland fans about him. The one thing you'd say is he'd get away with that in the Championship. I genuinely believe that because the referee didn't initially give it. It was only on the VAR that they gave it. And the amount of times, I remember, was it Leeds at home where Ismael told him to rush out to the halfway line.
God.
He's one of those, Porto. He can have a brilliant game, and then the next thing he's having a shocker. And that's
to be fair to him, he's played a huge part in Scotland getting to that Euros. Like he started almost all the games in qualifying. He's played against Spain, which they beat in qualifying. Who look what Spain are doing now. So, no, I've got a lot of. I really like Ryan Porteous. We know he's got this in his game. So, he's still fairly young. What is he? 22, 23. So, I want to see him in that beautiful new Watford shirt next season, doing the business.
I actually came across an interview of Steven Gerrard, like absolutely slating him a few years ago when he was at Hibs. Something like every time we play against Hibs, he just tries to snap our players or something like that. And Steven Gerrard absolutely hates him.
Yeah, but one of them's playing in the European Championship. One of them's managing in Saudi. So
very true.
Gerrard's my childhood hero, but do one.
Sam, you did tee it up about the Georgia story. Unless I do a video on chat for that's it, the Euros. I'll save for another time, but maybe not. We'll do it now. Anyway,
we talk about fixtures.
Yeah, we need to talk about fixtures as well. Very, very briefly. Sam and I were in the pub with Charlie on the opening day of last season, and Sam, and this is all credit to Sam. I mean, I've completely stole his thunder here. I mean, if Sam was out here, he'd be getting thousands of views. Sam started singing the Chat for Detsy song, and I think I've tweaked it slightly, Sam. I think I tweaked it to Around the Country, and it was, what was your one?
Until You Love Me, I think it was.
Chat for Detsy. Anyway, long story short, we were in Dortmund for Georgia versus Turkey. We pulled to the station. I was with the two guys I'm working with, Jack and Ale. We've come out, and this dude in a Georgia flag has just said, "Hey, where are you guys from?" I was like, I'm from London, Watford, Chatford, Datsy. It turns out he's the biggest YouTuber in Georgia. I didn't have a clue, right? So he's into
the Culshaw of Georgia.
Honestly, this guy's the KSI of Georgia.
Spider-Man meme.
The KSI of Georgia, right? He's got like 250,000 subscribers on YouTube. He goes, which one's the Georgian beer and which one's the German beer? I've guessed it correctly. He then goes, try this Georgian snack called Churchkella.
It's the long green thing.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, I thought it was a massive jalapeno. So I said to him, is it really hot? And he was like, no, it's sweet. And it was nice. And then at the end, Ale reminded me, he's like, tell them the chant, because we were singing it in the hotel in the morning because it was obviously Georgia-Turkey. And I was just doing it for a laugh because obviously we were singing it at Watford last season in the pub. So I was singing it with him. Anyway, the clip that Jack, the producer, recorded, I put it on my socials. Mate, honestly, I've never seen anything like it, right? I mean, it was just completely just a bit of a laugh with Ratiz Bar, his name is, the Georgian YouTuber. That clip is now on 650,000 views on Instagram. On TikTok, it's on 600,000 views. right? And then the maddest thing about it, right, was when I'm on the train to the game the other day, these guys were like, Jack Vadazzi, sing us the song, sing us the song. I'm like, so I'm just stood there singing the song with the Georgian fans, and then on the train as well. Honestly, it must have been like over 1 million. I think it's like 1.5 million views or something crazy. But that was Jack Vadazzi at the Euro. Yeah.
All I've got from the Euros is me drunken in a nightclub in Frankfurt with like 97% England fans, 3% women, like 0 likes. Anyway.
Yeah, but Sam, this is all that I have to say. A huge shout out to Sam, because if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be here.
No, anyway. It was all you changing that lyric round, I think, Jacob. That allowed it to take off. They're great, though, the Georgian fans, aren't they? I think.
They're amazing. Yeah,
they look like a really, really nice group of people as well. It's on the bucket list. I'm going to have to go out there to a Georgia game at some point.
We need to be excited about hopefully singing that song around the Rookery. Do you know what I mean? Next season.
Oh mate, I'll be keen. Me and Sam are going to start. Anyway, fixture time now. Sam did a video yesterday. Once again, this is how I repaid him. I didn't post the video, but Sam, fixtures. Talk to me. Opening day, last day, February is probably my big takeaway, and also it's a couple of decent New Year Boxing Day fixtures as well.
Yeah, definitely. Apologies about the live stream as well. I was meant to do yesterday morning. The Wi-Fi went down about 10 minutes before, so apologies about that. Then recorded the video, and Jacob, being the busy man that he is, not a problem, mate. But yeah, no, I think February is the really, really difficult one. Yeah, I think it's a good start as well. To be honest, it's a bit difficult. There's no easy games in the Championship. I'll throw out all the cliches now already, but yeah, no. The intangibles, exactly. Yeah, I think other than February though, because the one that's gone under the radar as well. We're playing Sunderland and Middlesbrough in the space of a week, with Leeds at home in between that. So the players will literally be travelling to one side of the country, coming back down for Leeds, then going straight back up. So that's an absolute killer for them. And the week after that, we got Luton at home. So that February is really, really tough, but exciting days out as well. I'm excited for Pompey away on Easter Monday as well. I think that's the one I'm looking forward to most.
Yeah, some belted in there. And also Portsmouth at home on Boxing Day, opening day of the season. We've got Millwall away, which I'm going to be going to. If you lads are as well. I know, Sam, you've done it a couple of times. You walked out after 45 minutes, wasn't it? Your last time.
Yeah, that's the earliest I've ever left the game. Second earliest I've left the game. I left when we were 3-0 down. I left after an hour. Earliest I've left the game was Wolves away. I left at, I think, 5-0, and we lost 4-0.
I've seen us win 6-1 away at Millwall.
Oh, yeah, cool. What a day out.
So, Charlie, any other standouts just to throw some out if you haven't seen it? Millwall away, first game of the season. Boxing Day is Portsmouth at home. New Year's Day is QPR away. We've got a nice memory from last season of playing QPR in January. Last game of the season is Sheffield Wednesday at home. Charlie, your thoughts on the fixture list? We are going to have to play everyone at some point, but the point is there any patterns or anything you picked out?
No, I read it again first thing in the morning, probably a bit hungover, and I just thought HMS Pistol League. Like, it looked like an easy run. Millwall, Stoke at home, Derby at home, get a bit of momentum. No, I'm sure it's going to be tough. I like that Christmas period. Portsmouth at home, Cardiff at home, and then QPR away. And then Sheffield Wednesday on the final day. PTSD as Watford. The fans are around the pitch ready to steam on as we claim the championship title, only for that Jesus lookalike man nodding at home to kill dreams. But no, I thought it looked like quite a good set of fixtures. I know you guys mentioned February, but I think it looks like good fun. So let's look forward to it. And of course, we've got Luton, haven't we? Away October the 19th. Away.
I've had a stinker with Luton. I go to Australia 2 days before Luton away, so I'm missing out on it.
Well, mate, cancel the flights, get on that Harry Potter bus, and make your way to Kenilworth Road. Honestly, do you know what? Honestly, Charlie, you said about the sort of the flashbacks to Sheffield Wednesday at home, right? I went to Bournemouth Uni, and I cannot tell you how many times Bournemouth fans told me about that game. And every time I think of that fella running on the pitch at the free kick, I think of Nui, who like absolutely smashing one into the ground, like, and then going into the roof of the net. Great limbs, to be fair, in the Sheffield Wednesday. And then we pitch invaded, and the whole thing was just awful. But we're not going to end it on a sour note. Sam, we're winning the league next season. Agree?
Red shorts, Tom Cleverley in charge, Lloyd Doyley on the backroom staff. We are back.
Lloyd Doyley as well. We didn't even mention that, Charlie. I mean, Sam was, getting quite emotional that his first game, QPR at home, was Cleverley and Doyley playing together. Doyley scoring. I thought it was really nice, actually, seeing those two together. Charlie?
Yeah, it's just nice to see the coach. Congrats as well to Matty Bevans. He was an academy player a long time ago. He was Damon's assistant with the women. He's obviously had a bit of a promotion to under 18s lead. So fair play to him. And yeah, it's got a nice feel around the club now. We've seen with like the academy what they're trying to do with Jimmy Gilligan and Richard Johnson, and the kind of additions, bringing Lloyd back. Matty Bevers being promoted. Obviously, Tom leading the line with the first team. So it's got a really nice feel. However, Watford's Watford. So let's just hope we can have a good start, bring in some good players, and try and have a better season than we've had in yesteryear, because the fans are still here. We've still got our hope and optimism. Hopefully we can just have some good stuff on the pitch to match the vibes.
Top man. I think that's where we'll leave it. Just a reminder, we do have a giveaway on our Instagram at WD18 fans for the new 24-25 home shirt. If you want a chance of winning it, make sure you do follow us and let us know the rating of the kit, your rating, down in the comment section below. Thanks so much to everyone who watched live today from London, England, and from Dusseldorf in Germany. It's been an absolute pleasure. Make sure to leave a like on the way out. Subscribe to WD18. Follow Sam, Charlie, and myself on our socials, and WD18 at WD18 fans. Lads, when are we thinking we'll be back? We'll obviously, if there's news coming out, probably over the next few weeks, we'll do content. I'm back in London on Thursday.
I mean, I imagine there's going to be a few transfers announced next week. I reckon Tikvich, Bond, and potentially Moussa Sissoko as well will all be announced next week. So we'll be here reacting to them all.
Should we try and? I mean, obviously, this is just an idea. Bondy phone in when it gets confirmed. I mean, potentially, Sam. Just put the pressure on there. Charlie, final thoughts.
Jacob, enjoy yourself out there. Live it up. That's my final thoughts for you. Hopefully, all the Watford fans aren't getting too much depression watching England, but we're going to turn it around on Sunday. Hopefully, we can have a good game. But yeah, just enjoy the Euros. Get your new shirts ordered. Enter our competition for a chance to win a new shirt. And obviously, we've got some pre-season fun to happen. We've got Hibs coming up. Exciting times until the season starts, maybe. But we'll be here to talk about it.
Well said. Nice one, guys. Thanks, Michael, for the lovely comment. And we will see you next time. Take care and up the audits. You odds.